So I just saw The Great Gatsby, this movie based upon this book that everyone but me has seemed to have read. And going into this movie, I had no idea what anything was about. All I knew was Leonardo DiCaprio in this movie, and I'm one of those people who, if I know there's someone I like in a movie, I will check it out. Leonardo DiCaprio is someone who I enjoy seeing his movies, and so this is a movie I was looking forward to see. Yes, this is a new Leonardo DiCaprio movie. I will see it. The thing about this movie was all the performances by all the characters, all the actors were just fine. You have Leonardo DiCaprio as Gatsby. You have Tobey Maguire as this guy who was next door to him, Nick. They call him Nicky. And then you have a couple other people you recognize in the movie playing the respective roles of Tobey Maguire's cousin Daisy, Nicky's cousin Daisy, and then her husband. And then you have the friend of all these people, and you have people who Gatsby knows and stuff like that. And the whole movie is basically finding out who is the Great Gatsby. And you find out everything you would ever care or not care to know about this character by the time the movie is over. You find out what makes Gatsby great. The thing about this movie, though, for someone who was blind to anything about the movie, or the book, and I've never read the book, I don't know anything about the source material, the movie itself, the first half, moves along at such a breakneck pace and tries to cover so much ground that I had no idea what was going on halfway through this movie. I actually leaned over to a buddy of mine who had read the book and I said, dude, what? There is so much happening, I have no idea what any of it means. And that's the whole, that's the first half of the movie. The second half of the movie, it feels like if someone else took the reins and just completely stopped the pace. The pacing grinds to a halt in the second half of this movie, and it just slogs through that last hour and 20 minutes. And by the end of the movie, I was just begging for credits. I was just like, I get it. I understand. Can we please just move on? There are so many drawn out and long, overly done scenes in this movie. The weird thing is, I was like, none of the performances were bad. They were all really, really good performances across the board. Everybody was on mark in this movie, or on point. And visually, the movie is beautiful. It's a stunning visual movie. And I watched it in 3D because, if I recall, it was shot in 3D, so I was like, well, I should see it in 3D. Don't see Iron Man 3 in 3D, there's nothing there. But this movie was really nice in 3D. There's a lot of really pretty colors and really great, panning shots, and there's nothing that jumps out at you, thankfully, but the way that there's a lot of depth to this movie. It's like you're looking into it, and it looks really good. But the thing that really, really took me out of this experience, almost more than anything, was not the jarring pace from the breakneck speed to the dead halt, but the fact that this is like a 1920s, after the World War II, when the prohibition was involved and whatnot, and the alcohol was illegal and everything like that. It had all these people. Anytime there was a song, it wasn't an old song of that era. It was a modern hit song from the last maybe 5 years, and it completely took me right out of the experience. I hope you like Jay-Z and Kanye West, because that's the whole soundtrack. There's a Beyonce song in there. There's a bunch of Jay-Z. There's a bunch of Kanye, and they're not just. It's not just dubbed over this movie. The people are dancing to these songs, and some of them are even singing the songs, and it's just. I don't think that's what the author had in mind. Maybe he did. That's the thing. I didn't read the book. But the thing about this movie that I would say is, if you never read the book, it's a pretty movie to watch, but it gets really boring really quickly, and good luck trying to understand what's going on at first, or what the movie is even supposed to be doing for a long time. I'm talking an hour. The other thing is, if you read the book, like I said, I'm not sure if you'd like it. The people who I went with, they didn't care for it very much either. They were waiting for credits. I don't know. Like, I would say skip it. As a Leonardo DiCaprio fan, this is probably his weakest movie. I say that absolutely adoring movies like Catch Me If You Can and Blood Diamond, and even in Titanic, the dude was just, oh, he's a phenomenal actor, and I hope he, like, I'm just waiting for his next movie. Like, I'll always see a Leonardo DiCaprio movie. This was no different. If you like Leonardo DiCaprio and you want to see a movie he's in, check it out. You'll enjoy it. He does a good enough job. But, I mean, yeah, if you want to see a set piece movie that really, I mean, it's very, very stylized. It's like almost hyper stylized, almost like a live action cartoon in some moments. Which I also love those kinds of movies. My favorite movies being Kung Fu Hustle and Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, but it doesn't quite achieve that level. This movie tries to be a whole bunch of things, and I guess you could say it dips its fingers into too many pots or cups or whatever, and it doesn't really accomplish much as its own movie. So as a movie, I mean, as a book, I don't know. I won't read the book, but as a movie, I wouldn't say it's a very. I mean, it wasn't even very entertaining, and that's the thing. If a movie's not entertaining, I wouldn't recommend it. And so no, I guess I wouldn't recommend The Great Gatsby, just based upon the fact that I could not wait for it to be over by the halfway point. I was just like, this movie absolutely needs to wrap up. And when it finally did, I was running out of that theater. Like, I was hoping it would be, I mean, there's a scene towards the end of the movie where everything starts to unravel. And the tension is, like, you could cut it with a knife. I mean, there's some really good individual scenes. But overall as a movie, it just doesn't work for me. So, like, if you like your movies with peppered in really good bits and pieces, like, some of the interactions with some of the characters you meet in this movie are really good and really on point. But as a whole, it's flat. It's a flat movie, and it's uninteresting. So there you go. If you want to see a movie that has good parts, it's check it out. Don't pay $13 though. If you want to see a great movie, there's others. I'm sure. I hope, because the last two I saw were not very good. I'm seeing Star Trek next week, so yes. So don't see The Great Gatsby. It's okay. You're not gonna miss anything.